everybody. How you doing? It's Gus Tucker here for Financial Freedom Fridays. It's good to see you. Glad you're doing well. And hey, comment, send me your questions. Let's keep the interaction going, okay? I'm looking to hear from you. Any way we can be of help to you, let us know. I'm gonna jump right into this presentation, and we're gonna make things happen, okay? So what we've been talking about is principles of identity and wealth creation, because we can't outlive our identity, because you have to believe that things are going to happen for you and they're going to work out before they actually do. Okay. There's a book I read. It's called Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth. Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth. And it's called the Bible. And there's some principles in there that are mind-blowing, that once you understand them, they'll make a difference for you in your life. And I will tell you, I wish that I would have gotten on them earlier. I'm on them now, but I wish I would have got on them earlier. Don't take advantage of your opportunities during the time of the opportunity, because there comes a time when those opportunities, the door shuts. Okay, the door shuts. So let's go. So what you see is from where you sit. Perspective makes all the difference. So whatever you believe about money and you believe about your financial situations, a lot of those things were built into your life as you were coming along from your parents, the people that you grew up around, your circumstances, and the way you saw them handling money. So spend some time thinking about, what are your perspectives about money, right? Because there's three kind of basic outlooks on money: the poor, the middle class, and the wealthy. We'll talk about those in a little bit, but I want you to think about, what is your perspective about money? When you think about money, is there an abundance of it? Is there a scarcity of it? Is it hard to come by? Is it easy to come by? What do you think about work and business? Is it hard? Is it a blast? Is it fun? Are you high energy about it, or do you is it drudgery? All those things impact your ability to create income. So everyone has a worldview, a way of seeing the world. Where are you sitting when it comes to your life? Seeing your life from God's perspective is the best, and in my opinion, the only vantage point. If you go back to Genesis, you may not have read this very much or looked at it very much, but I would encourage you to check it out. Genesis 1:26, where God said, "Let us make man in our image." And he was talking about mankind. Adam and Eve together are mankind. Man and woman makes mankind. And he told them to do some specific things, to be fruitful. Be fruitful. How does fruit multiply? Everything for fruit to multiply is already in the fruit. But the fruit has to give a seed. The seed has to go into the ground and in effect die and turn into something new. I will challenge you, as you put together your plans and you think about your future, you're going to have to die to the old person that you were and become something new. Every time in the Bible something big happens, that happens for somebody. Whether it was Adam, whether it was Noah, whether it was Abraham, whether it was Joseph, Joshua, everybody, they had to leave their common place and go somewhere new and become something new. So be fruitful, multiply, and everything you need to multiply has already been built into you. That's why it's so important to understand your purpose and to know your purpose in life. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. And it didn't say addition either. It said multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. That means take the earth and bend it to your specifications. Take the principles that you're learning and that God is showing you, and make this thing bend to your principles, to your needs, and then to rule, to dominate. Not other people. We're never called to dominate other people. We're called to dominate the earth and cause it and cause it to provide the things that we need. It's all built in there. If we'll be who we need to be fruitful, be multiplying, and doing the right things, filling the earth, subduing it, and ruling, you'll have the outcomes that you want. Be, do, have. Be the right person, do the right things, and then you'll have the right outcomes. It's guaranteed. So, and we're going to get more into this in the coming months, the 4 levels of wealth: stability, security, freedom, and abundance. Stability, security, freedom, and abundance. And we're going to talk about how to create those different levels in your life. And we're going to go through the 8 financial breakthroughs that we need to make sure are in place so that we can hit those 4 levels. Some key concepts that we're talking about, kind of building a foundation to making those things happen, are one is we gotta manage our numbers around our money. Cash flow margin. What's your cash flow margin every month? Your total income minus total expenses equals cash flow, right? And then look at total income minus total fixed expenses equals non-discretionary cash flow margin. I was doing a mock interview with someone going through a financial exercise, and it was so powerful as we were talking about, in a role play situation, helping this family put together their plans for the future. Question: do you have a plan for your future written down? Is it written down on paper so that you can refer to it? So if I came over to your house and asked you for it, you could show it to me. Let me ask you this: what multi-million-dollar business is running without a business plan? Do you plan on being a multi-million-dollar household? How's that going to happen without a business plan? Okay. We got to be planning for our cash flow. That's an area to be planning. We got to be planning for our monthly savings and investment goals. Okay. The poor save 10% or less of their money. The middle class, 20% or less. Wealthy, 30% or more. Okay. The view of money of the poor is money's to pay my bills. The purpose of money is to pay my bills. The middle class say the purpose of money is so I can buy nice things on credit. The wealthy, the purpose of their money is to make money. So then they pay for things with the money that their money has made, not their principal, but they pay for things with interest. Think about that for a second. If you pay for things with the interest from your money, what do you always have? Your principal. So you're just always building more money. You're never going backwards. Think about that for a minute. Number 3, your net worth. What do you own minus what you owe? The house you live in, investment properties, businesses you own, insurance. Insurance is an asset. Intellectual property you own. Okay. What's your net worth? What is it this year? What do you plan for it to be in the future? And your financial independence number. When is the day coming? I'm never going to retire, but when is the day when you're going to stop working for money? You're still active, you're still productive, you're still making things happen, but you don't necessarily need the money that's coming in. So how much money is going to come in and from what sources? It'll be investments, businesses, and real estate. Okay, what's your plan? Is that plan written down? Now we're going through a book called The Power of Zero. I'd like to get some feedback about this book and this concept called The Power of Zero. Here's the big idea: retire and don't pay income on your money, your cash flow that's coming in, because you set it up through the right vehicles and you have the right strategies in place. And we're just talking about a few of the strategies. Okay. But I encourage you to get this book by David McKnight, The Power of Zero. Check that book out. I'd love to get your feedback about what you're learning from it. Okay. But here's the big idea. There's a storm gathering. Taxes are going to be higher in the future. Why? because fewer people are paying into Social Security than they have in the past. 4 programs over 70% of our budget: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, interest on our debt. And we have liabilities we haven't paid for. Okay, so in order to catch up and make this country still be solvent, we're going to have to raise taxes. It's a math problem. Taxes are going to go up. Okay, that being the case, during retirement, people already have some concerns. Do I have enough money for retirement in the right accounts? Because they're concerned about, one, is just having enough income, and 2, taxes. Have you protected your elderly parents or protected yourself for your later years? Long-term care, huge issue in our country, getting bigger and bigger every day. What happens if my spouse passes away? Income protection, the threat of losing your income because of a premature death. Nobody wakes up and says, yeah, this is the day I'm going away. No, we don't think about that. Have I taken care of the next generation? What have I done to pass things on in an orderly way, in a way that makes sense to the next generation? And then the 3 tax buckets we talked about: taxable, tax deferred, tax advantage. The 3 tax buckets. Tax now, savings accounts, CDs, bank CDs, things like that. People put their money in the bank because it's liquid and they feel like it's safe. But the FDIC that pays you up to $250,000, okay, if you lose money at that bank, they don't write you a check for $250,000. They make a monthly payment to you over a period of time to get you your money back. Read the fine print, y'all. Read the fine print, y'all. Okay? Tax later are things like 401ks, 403bs, anything with a 4 in it. That means it's for the government. 401k, 403b, meaning you're getting that tax break now, but after your money blows up and it grows, you're going to pay tax on that to the government. Tax later. Then tax never, you get taxed up front, and then you don't get taxed on the back end. Okay, and we're going to advocate for that strategy. So here's your thing about the tax buckets. You want to have the right amounts of money in each one of those buckets. So it matters where you save and invest your money. In the taxable bucket, we don't want any more than 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in your taxable bucket. Why? Typically, you're going to pay taxes on it, and typically it's a low return kind of number, 5% or less, usually, okay? And that's typically barely keeping up with inflation. So you want money in that taxable bucket, your savings account, CDs, things like that, 3 to 6 months of expenses that you need to live so you can weather any kind of storms that are coming up. The next bucket is the tax deferred bucket. Those are IRA plans, employee retirement plans, 401ks, things like that, where your contributions are tax deductible, but when you take the money out, it's treated like ordinary income, and you're going to pay income tax on it. Here's what you want to do. Look at the standard deductions, what they are on your taxes right now. 2023 is $27,000. You don't want to make any more than $27,000 out of this tax deferred bucket because that keeps your income tax liability at zero. Gus, I can't live on $27,000. Well, I know that, but that's why we want to have that money come out of the third bucket. So we put enough money in to grow to where we can meet our itemized deductions, can wipe out the income that comes from this bucket, and then the rest of it comes from the third bucket. Okay? Just think about that for a second. Think about that for a second, because you'll be in like a 12 to 22% tax bracket. If you don't, think about how much money that is during your retirement. It's a lot of money. That's the tax deferred bucket, okay? The tax advantage bucket is where you're using Roth IRAs and cash value life insurance through the tax rule 7702 to set up your retirement money. Because you're taking the money out of the policy, the life insurance policy, as a loan. You're still growing your equity, okay? And you can set it up so if you get the right kind of product, life insurance retirement plan product, that isn't a real product. It's a marketing name. It describes what you're doing for it. You're using life insurance to help with your retirement plan. So what you want to do in that plan You're also going to use the Roth IRA, which is, but the life insurance retirement plan is, so you design it, you buy as little as insurance as possible, and but you get it so you can put as much money away. You got to balance that. How much money you're going to need versus, and the financial professional you're working with can help you with this. Insurance companies will help you with this to buy the least amount of insurance you need, but it'll give you enough room in that policy to save and invest enough money so that it can get big enough to really take care of you down the road. Because the government will only allow you to buy a certain amount of insurance based on your income, okay, and your age. They'll allow you to buy a certain amount of money. Excuse me. But for you, what you want to do with this policy is minimize your expenses, but maximize the amount of money you can put in. So it's a little bit of an art and science to figure out what that is. But once you have that plan in place, you want to maximally fund it, put as much money in there as possible. So in the tax advantage, you're going to balance the IRA and the life insurance retirement plan. You're also going to need long-term care insurance. Why? Because as you live longer, I don't know about you, but I know I'm living longer and I can already feel it in my bones a little bit. You're probably going to need some help around the house as you get older. Okay. There's some things you're not going to want to do. Okay. So you're going to need that long-term care, which you can also do through the life insurance retirement plan. Okay. So 4 concerns in retirement. Do I have enough money for retirement? And is in the right accounts? That's a tax question. Have I protected my elderly parents and myself in my later years? That's a long-term care question. What happens if my spouse passes away? Oh, that's an income question. Okay. And estate planning. Okay. So what are the big ideas? The big ideas is you got to get aggressive about saving and investing your money going forward. Aggressive. More than 20%. Well, Gus, how am I going to do that and live? Well, look at how you're living. Because you can finance a lot of things. It's tough to finance retirement, man. Because the credit cards are going to max out. The lines of credit are going to max out to have the money that you're going to need over the long haul. The only way to do this is to prepare for it. Okay? So our goal is in the taxable accounts, 3 to 6 months rent or your living expenses you're going to put in there. In the tax deferred account, enough so you cover the itemized deductions of $27,000. And then the rest of it, you seek to have come from your life insurance retirement plan and your Roth IRA. Why? Because the money that comes out of those accounts is tax free. Okay, it's tax free. And you can set yourself up to do that. Okay, and you can work with some professionals that we have on our team who can help you structure this life insurance retirement plan correctly. So the big idea is to get the right amount of money in each bucket. Minimize the money in the taxable bucket. Cover living expenses for 3 to 6 months. So whatever your living expenses are for 3 to 6 months, have them in that bucket. Okay? The tax deferred bucket, you're going to look at when you're going to retire. You can kind of guesstimate it because they usually change this number for inflation. They change it by 3 to 5% on a fairly regular basis. So you can see what that might look like in the out years of when you might want to retire and not be working for money. But you want to build assets to generate income, but you want to target that income so it doesn't go past your standard deduction that they give you. Because at that point, when it goes past that, you're starting to get taxed. Does that make sense? And then the tax advantage bucket, you want to structure the life insurance policy the right way, and then you want to use the IRA. Okay? So, what does it look like? Can you guys see that okay? Is that big enough? Because what you got here is you got the 3 buckets. Hopefully you can see those 3 buckets there. The first is the taxable bucket. And you want how much in there? 3 to 6 months of your living expenses in that emergency fund bucket. The second bucket is the tax deferred bucket. We want to shift any money out of that into the third bucket um, that's going to take us over the limit for income. Okay, and you can talk to a financial professional about how to figure that out, what that number is. But by the time you're going to retire, whatever number you have in there is going to grow to a certain number that you're going to start taking income on when you get there. Why? Because the government's going to require you to do it. It's called a required minimum distribution. That's the government getting their money back that they lent you all these years. Okay, so they've got a formula for that. So that's the second thing, is the tax deferral bucket. You want to have your investments at a rate and growing at a rate where the cash they throw off is going to help you overcome those itemized deductions in your tax plan. The third thing is the lifestyle bucket, where you want your lifestyle to come from by leveraging Roth IRAs and the insurance policies. Well, how big should the insurance policies be? Well, you work through that with your the person you're working with on this to figure out how much insurance do I need to buy so I can put enough money away to have the best of both worlds. Okay? So you need to figure that out. Get with a financial professional to figure that out. So when you're choosing a life insurance retirement plan, there's 4 big ideas that you need to keep in mind. One is low expenses. This is not a time to be in a product in which your money that you're going to need for hard-earned money for retirement, right? Where you're going to need that. You don't want that eaten up in expenses in the insurance policy. So the insurance policy should be as small as possible to minimize expenses, but big enough so you can put enough money in there to really retire. So you got to kind of play off of that, right? And work with your financial professional to come up with that number. You want to have the ability to take care of long-term care expenses. Long-term care insurance as a standalone product, well, that's the only thing it does. Man, that's starting to go by the way of the unicorn and the dinosaur. Companies just aren't doing it. Why? Because it's so expensive to do it on a standalone basis. But if you can do it on a team basis with a life insurance company, you can get a better deal. Okay, you can get a better deal. Okay, so tax deferred bucket. Then number 3 is with your life insurance retirement plan, you want to make sure you have a couple of things. 1 was the low expenses. 2, that it has long-term care. 3, cost-free distributions. Well, taxes, that's a given regarding the tax law, but no cost to withdraw from the accounts. Different companies will do different things with their procedure for you to get money out of your account. Some companies require you to pay it back. Okay, at an interest level that's not exactly market rate, but it can be pretty hefty. So you want to be able to get your money out of your life insurance retirement plan without taxes and no other costs to do it. Then you want to make sure it's a financially stable company that you're doing business with, because their ability to pay you and to handle its commitment, because a life insurance policy is a contract that they can handle their side of the contract. It's all about the financial stability of the company. Okay, so you want to be on point in terms of understanding that. So those are the big ideas on the life insurance retirement plan. Low expense products, have long-term care, cost-free distribution, no taxes, and no cost withdrawals from the company. And you want to have a financially stable company. Not here today, gone to Maui. Okay, not here today, gone to Maui, but you want a stable company. So really, that's what I wanted to share with you today, and get with a financial professional to put your winning plans in place. No team is going to win without a written game plan. So everybody who's on the team can rally around that plan to make it work. And do you know how you make good decisions? You execute. You make a decision, then you make the decision good. How do you know that was a good play call? Is it just calling the right play, or is it calling a certain play and then having your players execute? I believe that's what it is. Because you can call a great play, but if they don't block, run, or throw correctly, it's going to fall apart. Right? So execute, make a decision, and then make the decision good. What's the decision? Don't pay taxes during retirement. Understand how to structure your income going forward in those 3 buckets so you don't get taxed to high heaven when you retire. Okay, guys, that's what I wanted to share with you today. You guys have a great time. If you got questions, you can text me at this number. Reach out. You also have my email, financialfreedomfridays@gmail.com. Financial Freedom Fridays with the S at gmail.com, or text me. And let's get you on that road to financial freedom. Does that sound good? All right, you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, share with other people, and most importantly, read the book, and let's start putting these things into place and making it happen for yourself. Okay? You guys take care.